Hey y'all, I'm Logan Phashe.
And I'm Phashe.
And welcome to Fetsa, Tlala.
So guys, Fetsa Tlala means finish the hunger. And in this segment of Godfather TV, we are going to be teaching you guys how to make meals that are easy to make, but you think they're probably difficult. So Logan, tell us, what are we making today?
So today we're going to be making pizza, which we're excited for this for two reasons. One, because pizza is one of our favorite things to make together. And two, I feel like most of you out there watching are already thinking, pizza, no way, can't do that. But I promise you can. It's way easier than you think it is.
Yeah, and if I can do it, guys, I promise you.
Yeah, he can do it. So the ingredients that we need for today, we're gonna first start off with the dough. And then the pizza dough will have to rise for 1 hour. And so this recipe is very adaptable because like on a pizza, you can put almost anything you want on top. The only two ingredients that you absolutely have to have in this form is one, yeast. And you can either buy instant yeast or active dry yeast, and flour. So you have to have those like they are, but then we're gonna use for the dough, we're gonna use some type of oil. We're using extra virgin olive oil, but you can choose whatever oil you have. And then we're using muscovado sugar, but you can use any sugar that you have at home.
Normal brown sugar will suffice.
Yeah, any sugar, and then some salt. So this is what goes into the dough as well as some water. So we're gonna make the dough first. And then it will rise for an hour, and then we'll be able to put on some yummy toppings.
All right, let's do this.
First, Khadijah's gonna fill this up with one cup of warm water. So if you don't have a measuring cup, you can actually just grab a teacup, and that's about the same measurement. It works out almost perfectly. So can you please get 1 cup of warm water?
Cool.
And I'm going to use our instant yeast. And so I need 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast. So if you don't have a measuring teaspoon, like I'm using this one today, which has a teaspoon on it, but if you don't have that one exactly, you can actually just use a teaspoon from your house, and you can estimate the 1/4 teaspoon, but you can do 2 1/4 total. So yeast is what's gonna give the dough a rise. So I don't know if you've ever seen dough rise, but it'll start off, when we're done with the dough, it's gonna start off one size, and then the yeast is gonna help it rise to almost twice the size.
Can I put it up?
No, a little more. Okay.
No, this is...
No, it's not full. To the top. Guys, you have to fill the cup to the top, okay? Even if it drips across your floor, better safe than sorry. Okay.
No, this is full.
That is full. Is it warm?
It's warm.
Okay, great. Put
It's
it in there.
relatively warm. It doesn't have to be hot or warm.
No. So you want to make sure it's warm, put it in there, and then start mixing.
What is warm though?
Okay, I'll explain. Pour it in there and start mixing. So you want to have warm water because it helps activate the yeast. If your water is boiling hot, it's going to kill the yeast, and the yeast will not make the dough rise. So make sure your water is just kind of warm. Maybe just like straight out of the faucet, but not the really, really hot water. Just warm.
People don't know the faucet.
Oh, your sink. What are you calling? Guys, this has been one of the most fun things, is figuring out what do we call things differently. Me, American, versus him, South African. So that's been fun. Okay, so while you're mixing the water and the yeast, we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of sugar. Again, any sugar of your choice. Now, if you don't have a measuring tablespoon, you can use a bigger spoon. So if you need a teaspoon, this, TSP, teaspoon. If you need a tablespoon, TBSP, use this. Why I say TBSP and TSP? Tablespoon, TBSP. Teaspoon, TSP. Some people get them confused when reading that.
Yeah,
So I'm
one of those people.
like him. The other day he thought we had what did you think? We had like doubles, but it was just with its teaspoon and tablespoon.
Yeah,
So we're gonna do 2. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Oh no, sorry, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. I almost got that wrong. And then 2 tablespoons of an oil of your choice.
Oil of your choice, guys.
Okay, good mixing.
Okay.
So now after he's mixed all that up, keep mixing it. After he's mixed all that up, we're going to add in the flour. So now you're gonna do 2 3/4 cup flour. Remember, you can use this, a teacup as your cup, but since it's 2 3/4 cup, just use 2 full cups, and then the next one do like 3/4 of the way full. Okay, so I've mixed all the flour into the dough. Now, a few things I forgot to mention is I used a hand mixer, but if you just have a spatula, you can just use your spatula. It just takes a little bit more muscle and elbow grease. And you want to progressively add the flour. So it's almost 3 full cups of flour. It's 2 3/4 cup. And so if you add it all at once, it's going to be really hard to incorporate it. So I do a cup at a time. So that, and then also I added some salt because you need a teaspoon of salt. So as you're mixing in the flour, put in a teaspoon of salt. Now, the dough isn't quite sticking together. Like this. It's not together yet. Calfella. Wow, we didn't even plan that. That was so good. So it's not quite calfella yet. So we're gonna make a little bit of a mess. So as you can tell, pizza is kind of just a messy thing you make. So I'm gonna put flour on our surface and we're just gonna knead this dough. I'm gonna show you what kneading is. So I'm gonna take all that I have of this mixture, like this. I'm gonna put it all out. And basically I'm just going to knead this until it is all mixed together. So kneading, if you're wondering, is basically you're gonna flatten,
just press it out,
and then try to fold it. Now right now it's not very foldable because it needs to be, it's kind of crummy, but as you keep doing this, it's gonna be more and more cohesive. So we're gonna do this until it is all one ball of dough. I'm done kneading the dough and it's nice and cohesive like this. And so, Claudicia, can you take some olive oil and spread it around? We took the bowl we mixed in, we just emptied out some of the excess flour, and we're gonna put oil in the bowl so the dough is gonna sit in there and rise, and we don't want it to stick to the sides.
Yes.
So when you're letting your dough rise, you wanna try to keep it in a warm place that's away from like a breeze or something. So sometimes we let the dough rise in our microwave, or we turn on our oven for like 2 minutes, turn the oven off, and then put the dough in, just so it's in a warm space. So we're gonna put it inside the bowl.
Make sure that the oven is not too hot though, because it might just start cooking. It's not ready yet. So this needs to rise for at least an hour.
At least an hour. So this is how big it is now, and hopefully in an hour it'll be twice the size. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in.
Close it up.
You wanna close it up, you can either use foil, cling wrap, or we just like to use a towel. So it's been an hour and the dough, it's doubled in size, but I pushed it down a little bit so it doesn't look as big as it just was. But now that it's risen, I'm going to flour my surface. So basically when you flour your surface, you're making it so the dough doesn't stick. And then I'm gonna flour my hands. I'm gonna roll out the dough. This is the pan we're gonna be using for our pizza to cook in. Yep. So we put foil. You can also use baking paper or just a lot of oil. We did foil and then we did some oil so it doesn't stick. And so I'm gonna try to roll out the pizza dough to fit this.
Yeah. Don't forget to oil that pan because you don't want your pizza to be sticking on the pan.
So when you're rolling the dough, you might often see like on TV or something, people do this. That doesn't really do anything, but just make your dough go back and forth. So what you want to try to do is press and then roll out. And press and roll. So now I'm just trying to make the pizza dough fit in the pan. So once it's in the pan, you can kind of pull and you can fold over. I personally like some crust on my pizza. So I'm gonna pull and then even fold over a little so as to make some crust. But Khadisha doesn't like crust on his side.
Okay, now Logan has spreaded the dough and did whatever he needed to do. So now tell us what's next. What is it that we have to do now?
Yeah, so next we want to put our sauce on top, or whatever can be used as sauce. So for me, a backstory to this pizza is my mom started making this for us growing up, and she didn't put me and my family. So she didn't put red sauce like maybe a typical pizza has, but instead she would use oil and a lot of seasonings, and I loved it so much more than a bunch of red sauce. So even now, we don't eat our pizza with a red sauce, and so you don't even need to have one. Sometimes you can just use oil olive oil or sunflower oil or whatever you have, and a bunch of good spices like some garlic, like we have garlic here, we have garlic pepper, we have pepper and salt. And then what we're gonna use today, so if you want a tomatoey flavor, if you have tomatoes in your home, you can dice them up. If you have tomato paste, you can spread it on the pizza. We like this sun-dried tomato pesto, and as you see, we use it for pasta sometimes, so there's not a ton left. So we'll put this on the pizza with some of the other things. So yeah, that's gonna be the sauce on top. So again, very adaptable for what you have at home. Even if you just have oil and some good seasonings, go for it.
Cool, so now this is my favorite part. Now, what we're gonna do is, we're just gonna keep on adding the dried tomato pesto, the sun-dried tomato pesto on the thingy, and we're just gonna make sure that we cover up the entire base, right? And there's some pepper on it as well, right? So yeah, next thing is we're gonna take the garlic pepper, right, and we're just gonna sprinkle some of it in. Don't judge me from putting some more of this garlic on this pizza. Cool.
Okay, so now that everything is spread, our sauce is spread on the pizza. Like I said, we put garlic, salt, pepper, sun-dried tomato pesto. Now we're gonna put on our toppings. So what I'm gonna put on my side, I'm gonna start off with some spinach. So we have some cut spinach here. Then I'm gonna put, so we have white cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese. And so I'm gonna put a little bit of both of those on my side. And then I'm gonna put we chopped up some of the bacon we had left over in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put some pineapple on my side as well. And then I also so one thing that's amazing with pizza is you can really experiment with what you want to put on top. So I mix this mixture, you don't have to do it, I just do it for mine because I like a little sweetness on my pizza. I do honey, balsamic vinegar, and oil, and I mix it together and drizzle it over the top. Oh, so like I said, you can try different things. So even if you have some different oils or vinegars in your fridge or in your cabinet, try drizzling on top and just seeing if you like it.
Cool.
What are you gonna put on your side?
All right, so my side, I'm gonna put a lot of cheese, right? So of course cheese has to be there. I'm gonna put a lot of cheese. I'm gonna put the spinach as well, and I'm gonna put the bacon. But what you won't find on Logan's side is these bad boys. I'm gonna put these yellow peppers or these bell peppers on there and some onions. You know, you can't have a pizza without onions. Like, what is that?
No, you can't have
so
pizza without onions.
That's what we're gonna do. And one thing that you definitely won't find on my side is the pineapple. So yeah.
That's what he says, but sometimes it winds up on his side. So
no, it does.
We'll see what happens.
So yeah, let's start with that.
Okay, so we're done putting the toppings on our pizza. Here's what it looks like. I will admit that his side looks prettier because of the color, but yeah. I think my side's gonna taste better. And if you didn't notice, he put some pineapple on his side, so I think we all see here pineapple.
I just put one in the middle, just so that the pineapple flavor can just spread out a little, but not too much. But you can't be putting the same thing. All right, so what we're gonna do next is make sure that even before you start putting the toppings on your pizza, that the oven is preheated to 200 degrees Celsius. So then after that, just pop this in for 15 minutes and you are ready to chow.
And sometimes it might take 15 minutes, but really once you start seeing the cheese get really golden and kind of crunchy on top, that's when it's probably done.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put it
in the oven. Hey guys, the pizza has just got out of the oven and it is looking amazing.
It looks so good. I'm trying to make sure you can see it. It looks delicious and it smells delicious.
Oh yeah.
So we hope that today's episode made you feel like you can make a pizza, that it's really not that hard and you can use what you have at home to make it. So yeah.
Oh yeah guys, and now that you know how to make this, Fetsa Tlala.